There's something about you, your voice is all in my head. All in my head, all in my head. I cannot stop thinking about what we did. Oh, what we did. I just need one more night to beat it up. One more night to beat it up. Your body keep calling, calling my name. Just one more night to beat it up. One more night to beat it up. Have our own private party. Finish what we started, girl.
What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Tiffany Tony, and you're watching another episode of Lipstick Tea, where we talk about love, life, relationships, our dope-ass outfits, whatever else we want to talk about. Anyway, go ahead and introduce yourself. Beautiful.
Hey, I'm Miko Rounds.
I'm D-Ran Anderson. I just sung it.
That's okay.
I'm Michael.
Live your truth. What up? What's your name, baby?
What's your name,
What you
Mule?
gonna call me today, boss?
Daddy!
Oh,
Zaddy.
Zaddy. And also Margot Graf.
All right, y'all. What do y'all think of Margot's outfit? I like it.
It's
Can
very
I show my favorite feature?
Please.
Yes.
Let me.
Tips from the coochie. Who made
Like
this?
pants do.
What are those?
But it zips up, so you got
Interesting.
access without taking
But
the
you can
outfit
zip
off.
down and have
Not to
access
say
just
no,
as
because
But
much.
you gotta take it off or something. You gotta
No,
do
the
something
tightness,
different.
if you zip down, the tightness is still down there and the opening is, that's why the opening is up here
What
of
we
your
talking
pants
about?
and not
Not
down there.
Yeah. So right now, if we wore regular pants and I just unzipped, I couldn't get head, right? I couldn't get head. If I'm driving or something, I would have to take one leg off or do something. She could be driving, pull this up right here, and get full access, get head while
You
she's
drive
driving.
like
And
this?
if you subscribe
Yes,
to our
I do.
YouTube, you can order one for only $59.99.
That's cheap as,
No, I'm kidding.
That's cheap.
I'm like,
Margot's vagina.
Shipping's $100, okay? I'm trying to make some money over here.
So I want to ask you guys, what is the difference between acceptance and tolerance when it comes to straight people accepting the queer lifestyle?
The
What's the
difference between
difference?
acceptance
And tolerance, yeah. Is there a difference? And if so, what is it?
Can we, I don't know if y'all ever talked about this for an episode that I wasn't here, but like when Pride was out, literally every single, shop had Pride emails out. They had
Yeah.
rainbow signs, they had everything, but it was like, but is that store really just taking advantage of like the Pride
financial
community?
benefit,
And
of course.
So I feel like there's it's a very fine line between, tolerance
And
and
acceptance.
I feel like real acceptance is not needing to say that you accept it and be, so forth. I mean, like you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's wrong.
How do you feel about this?
I think that there's three categories, honestly. There's
probably right.
agreement, like to agree with it, to accept it, or to tolerate it.
Oh, yes.
Now, in order to accept and tolerate me, you don't have to agree with my lifestyle. So there's different levels. I would prefer to be accepted than tolerated. But if I have to choose the two, tolerance, I can deal with it. Like if you can't agree with me, you can be respectful and still tolerate. You know what I'm saying? But I know you don't really want to. Acceptance is when you can accept it, you can be respectful, but you don't have to agree with my lifestyle. I can sit up here and say, ooh, who don't I agree with?
Well, what's the
There has
difference
to be
between
something.
acceptance and tolerance?
Tolerance, okay, so acceptance is I can accept you. Like I can sit up here and say, you know how you said the people with the money, financial. Those people, half of them don't accept it at all. They're just tolerating it. Like Chick-fil-A, if they put a rainbow sign up in their
Which
thing
will never
to make
happen.
money, it would
Right.
never happen.
But hypothetically.
But if they did it, they would be doing it because they know that financial gain. So they tolerate those people walking into their store
Absolutely.
to make that financial gain for that day.
Yeah.
But they would never do it again. They don't accept it.
Right. It's not something they're going to do all year.
It's not
that
accepted.
one time.
So I could see how I wouldn't want to be accepted. Like I wouldn't want to be tolerated.
Because then
But-
it's like, oh, I'm just tolerating your
Right.
presence.
It's almost like
I
you're
can
closing your
tolerate
eyes and
it.
letting it happen. Accepting is as like, I'm okay.
welcoming
My
you.
eyes are open and I'm okay with this happening.
Can
And
you fault a
agreement is
person for
like,
not?
here's my hand.
That's a good
Yeah, it's like there's churches in LA that are tolerant. Like you can come to our church.
But don't be holding your man's hand. up
Not
in my
even that,
face.
but like if you were like, but I want to be on the worship team. You
not
can't serve.
accepting
You can't serve in the church,
Right.
but you can come.
Right, so there's
Give
a
your tithes and
difference.
offerings.
I just, at the end of the day, I just want someone to be respectful of me. I remember when I first came out and my parents didn't necessarily agree with my lifestyle. And my dad said, I don't agree, but if they love you, I love it. right? He's like, if they love you, no, he said, if they love you, I'm happy for you. When my girlfriend came by, my dad like didn't acknowledge her. And I was like, Dad, you don't have to agree with it.
Tolerating
Yeah, it was tolerance. And I was like, you don't have to agree with it. It's my family. So I want my family to be able to accept me. So when she comes through, just say hi. Be respectful. You don't have to be her friend. You don't have to invite her over. You don't have to do anything else. But when she's in my presence, when we're in your presence, just be respectful of what is happening.
Absolutely.
That's what I require of my family. Outside of my family, I just want somebody to be respectful of me. You ain't got to slur your hate. You ain't got to do any of that other stuff. You ain't got to be violent. If you don't like me, keep walking.
Right.
That's fine.
How do you feel about this?
I struggle between the two because I almost, if I'm also a different breed of a person, I'm very open to whatever. So, and I use like recreational drugs, for example, right? I don't like it. It's not my thing. It's
No
not my
weed?
shit. No, I'm just not that type of person.
You live in California?
I know, right? But
Me neither.
Thank
are
you.
my- oh my God, we're so
twins. We're twins, I promise you. But I don't impose my thought process on anybody else. So if I'm out with my friends and they do it, which they do it, it does not affect me. I don't look at you any differently.
So you don't feel you're tolerating it, or are you tolerant?
You tolerate
or
it, but you don't agree with it.
No, it's not even that I don't agree with it. It's not. It's that I'm
He accepts
You
who they are.
accept it,
He
but you're
accepts
not
it.
partaking.
Correct. And I
Okay.
think there's a difference between that and saying I'm tolerant, because here's what I realized too. Women, for example, especially people who categorize themselves as straight women, or maybe just women in general, they say that they don't have a problem with men sleeping with men, but they would never date a man sleeping with a man, right? So I mean,
is that's tolerance.
you're tolerant of it, but you're not accepting of it.
But we've talked
Right.
about this
Right.
in another form where it's, if you're also sleeping with a man and you're my man, he's giving you something that I don't have. So that it's different of like you sleeping with another woman. It's like you sleeping with something and wanting something that I can't give you. And that's a whole, that's another.
Technically, with advances and everything,
That's
if
not the
he's
truth.
giving her the dick, I mean, he could give him the dick, I could give him the dick.
Right, that's
I
not
could
the
wear
truth.
a dick and do it just as
it's
good.
It's a mind thing. It's just the
Yeah.
mindset. So that's why I say I struggle with, because we're just really what all this is coming down to is a personal preference, and
Right.
how does preference exist with being inclusive?
Yeah.
You know, that's what all this really is. It means.
Absolutely.
You know, because a person, you can't rob a person of their preference. You can't rob a person of that's their belief, because that's the America we stay in. But at the same time, you don't want to feel like a second-class citizen.
You don't
know?
impose
At the
it on
same time.
someone else.
Right. About
So
anything.
what's the difference for you versus you experiencing being tolerated and being accepted?
I think that the difference is when you're accepted, you feel comfortable enough to be who you are in the presence of whoever it is. When you're tolerated, you're like
On eggshells.
you're on eggshells. Should I bring my partner? Should I not? Like can we
you're
hold
an
hands?
exception, but anyone else you're with is asking.
That's how I am with my
Right.
family. That's exactly how, right? So that's why it gets very interesting.
Right,
for
and
me.
because when I came out to my parents,
Yeah.
my hesitation, because I told my mom, and I was like, Mom, you gotta tell Dad, because I'm not doing
I'm
that.
not getting that conversation.
I'm not having that conversation. And then he called me later after she told him, and we had this discourse, and I was like, the reason why I was hesitant to have this conversation is because in the past, you said some very hateful things about gay people.
Of course.
And he was like, I don't care nothing about them people. You my boy. Like, that's... And I'm like, okay, but like...
That's like saying I freaking niggers, but I'm not racist.
Yeah, like how can you have those...
It makes you
things-
Duality.
Yeah, like how can you do that?
How can that duality?
my dad-
because they
It's a
don't
wrap.
really see here, and here's how I really believe it. This is the problem I even have with my family. It's because you're choosing to only see the part that you want to see versus seeing the whole
person.
me.
Right. Yeah.
That's the problem,
Right.
and that's where tolerance and acceptance to me is a hard thing. But then I also think about, if you apply this to religion, right? And the person, this is their religious belief, and that's because I grew up in religion, so I totally respect it. I understand it. It's no big deal for me. And if a person to come in, they want to get married, for same sex to get married, but they can't. It's like, how do you be able to have the two coexist to where you're not... To be able to honor you and your relationship, I have to now not honor my belief.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's very hard. It's very hard to do something like that in some cases.
You don't have to. This is the thing. From my understanding, my relationship with God is my relationship. Me marrying my wife with God has nothing to do with you and your wife, you and your relationship.
Right, but I'm talking about
with God.
And
I'm
it's
talking
like
about if you want to get married in church, because this happened before, where the couple wanted to get married in the church, because that's they raised up in church, but the community or that religious leader that was against their, so they like, I couldn't participate in that.
Right.
So you rob.
But they don't.
Right.
Then you find you a pastor, somebody who does not feel that way. You find a church that does not feel that way. But my thing is, the people who don't feel like the people, I can't. This is against my belief.
It has nothing.
It does not. Has nothing to do with you. Your relationship with God is your relationship. If you think I'm going to hell for my relationship with God and what I'm doing, then let me go to hell. But you ain't got to come over to hell.
And
I see you there too because of X,
you
Y,
can't
and Z.
get married. You can't get married. You can't do. What does my relationship got to do with yours?
So you're saying there's a difference between saying like, hey, I can't do this, versus saying I'm saying you can't do it nowhere.
Right. There's a difference. Like, you don't have to be an ally. You don't have to be. The difference is, I said this earlier, there's allies, there are people who are complacent, who don't go one way or the other, and then there's people who are against you. Don't be someone against me because I've done nothing to you.
Right.
You don't have to come and spit your anger, your hate. You don't have to come and say, you know what, you're walking this way, gays can't walk this way, let me stand in your way. Me walking this way does not stop you from walking that way. Walk on your path.
I thought about this. I thought about recently. I was like, if I got married to a guy, if that's what I chose to do, which I don't know right now, I always wondered, like, how would I feel if I invited my family and they decided not to come? How would I feel? Yeah. Would I even send them an invitation to even want to even go through that?
How do you think they would feel?
I don't know. It's very.
I feel like
I would hate to put that relationship to a test, because to me, I think that would cause a very strain.
Of course.
On my
I could be your family.
But that's something that it's something that I've been thinking about a lot lately.
I mean, and I think that it'll be a test. Like, I think when I get married,
conversations come though.
It's gonna, I'd like to believe that my family, I mean, my immediate family, they're very supportive. But when you start talking about extended family, then it's like, I don't know, like, would they, like, they tolerate me because I'm 3,000 miles away. Like, he's gay over there.
Correct.
So we don't have to really see it.
Because one of the things that I've gotten, even from doing this show and a lot of other shows, because lately I've been doing a lot more shows in the social media market, is that I will get phone calls, and they don't mean no harm. It's like, where's the Duran that we know? Where's the Duran that we
know and love?
Right, and it's like, that's Duran in a box. That's like, and that, and
Wait,
this.
what? What do you mean?
So, like, they think it's like the things that I talk about now, right? And it's like, that stuff is not different. Now everybody can see it because I just did a show, so everybody asks me questions and blah, blah, blah. And it's very jarring to them to a certain point to be like
the aunts and uncles and cousins.
But as I break it down.
Remember this, D-Ran, and we want you to stay in this little box, and we don't want you to be so public about all these things.
All these things
Yes. And so what I realized, though, after I peeled it back, the reason why I brought it up is because it's not my immediate family, right? My grandparents don't have a problem. Outside my daddy,
it's the cousins and uncles and the family friends, that just want to be nosy anyway.
It's typically extended. I mean, like, I don't want to say typically, because it's my experience where it's like, I don't like, but I keep enough distance where I don't even know that.
How they feel.
I'll hear second and third hand information. So and so said this, and I'm like, oh, well, okay.
I mean, I have a cousin that, the way that he told his family that he was gay was he just literally showed up to school in like his mom's clothes. And then the principal called my uncle and was like, you need to come get your son. And they like pretty much just exiled him from the family, which I thought was like awful. And now they don't talk to him anymore, like 15, 16
That's
when
awful.
this happened.
It is. But also, we have to be
considerate
of other people's feelings as well.
Agreed.
There's a way that you have conversations.
He's
right.
a kid.
There's a way you have conversations too.
Yeah.
So some people, like my dad. Okay, so my mom was very absolute reverse. My mom was very in the gay community. Went to gay parties. Just tell me how she used to be at gay bars. How lesbian women are so great. Mom had gay male friends. Everything. My dad. He used to rap. He had this one song that said something, I hate something like I hate them fucking fags. Like, he came home one day, my mom had a gay guy at the house, my dad turned the fuck around. So I'm thinking, okay, tell my mom, don't tell my dad.
Right.
Because that's how you perceive
I told my mom, she flipped the fucking lid. My dad was like, okay, I don't agree with this, but if they love you,
Would you say your mom was tolerant or accepting of the lifestyle? Because tolerance to me, and this is why I bring this up, tolerance to me means it's okay as long as it doesn't hit home. Right? The moment it hits home, that's a problem. I mean, I can date you and you're okay, and I have this whole thing, that's why I keep bringing this back up. Like, I could date you, like, if you're a woman, and I'm like, I like to date women, but the moment you tell me that you date women, it's like, ooh, I can't, but I'm saying I'm cool with lesbians. I mean, it's okay until it's home.
So I thought she was accepting my whole life. Now you're maybe, in hindsight, maybe she was just tolerant.
Yeah.
Now she's a different person and she's completely accepting. Like, she still says some wrong shit. Like, she'll tell somebody, no, I have a gay. And I'd be like, oh my God. Say that. You
My little niglet.
You got a dog.
Niglet.
Not niglet.
No, I told her, I said the same. I was like, put the word black in front of it. Like, use the word black instead. If it's not right to say black, don't say gay.
Right.
I got it black. Yeah, and she gets it. But like, she's really accepting now.
I know.
I would just never say anything.
She's like,
I would never in my right
I
mind.
have a black.
So this is a little off topic. It's a transition into another subject. Thank you for sharing that, by the way. I want to know, we were earlier, before the cameras cut on, you guys, we were talking about the nude beach. And I want to know, have any of you guys ever gone on a date to a place like this? Or would you?
To a nude beach?
Yeah, or like a sex
date?
club or like a nude beach or anything like risque.
okay, so wait, let me make sure I'm very clear. There's a big difference between a sex club and a nude beach.
Is there?
Because
A sex club, you're fucking.
You get to
But
fuck.
you don't
That's
have
what I was
to.
You can't fuck at
You don't have
a nude
Why
beach.
not?
Can you not?
No,
No.
you cannot.
that's indecent exposure. That's y'all
you
going to
can't.
jail.
My fault. I'm glad we talked about this because I did not know.
She was like,
She was like, I'm
you
going to the new beach next week, and I'm getting my pussy
You're not allowed
ate.
to openly fuck in a locker room at a gym, so you're not allowed to openly have sex at a nude beach.
My
It's the same
fault.
thing.
So
Just because I can't fuck at a gym locker room doesn't mean I haven't fucked in a gym.
But okay, so
Not
you can
about
go
him.
to a club and sleep with people, but you can't do it at the beach.
That's
nature.
No, but it's sanctioned.
because
Like,
there are
that's what that
families
is.
at a nude beach.
Just like you can go to somebody's
There
house.
are.
You bringing kids go
Yes,
to nude
in
beaches?
Europe, there
Okay.
are a lot of. In Europe, it's.
I mean, I've had sex at a not nude beach.
Oh, well, tell me more.
I mean, who hasn't had sex at a not nude
so y'all
beach?
ain't getting worried about
haven't had
getting
sex
locked
at
up
a
at the
non-nude
not
Because because they doing it at night and you sneaking and doing it.
It was not night.
Oh.
you fucking
It was,
You gotta turn my whole body this
it was
way.
a nice little. It was a nice like cove in Malibu. And I was like, but
Delicate.
it was very.
Give me the directions to this
Yeah,
house,
well,
please?
it's my favorite little nook.
Okay, if I happen to bump into you there one day, you know what I'm
My
over there
favorite
doing.
little nook.
So
You fuck over
there, I fuck over here.
Don't make eye contact, Kay.
Okay,
so the sex club,
Okay.
that's why I want to make sure, because clearly we all.
My fault.
The sex club or the club is where penetration is happening.
Okay,
Yes.
so the sex club is sanctioned.
into it.
That's what it's
sanctioned.
sanctioned for. So like,
Gotcha.
so say you go, like if I go to somebody's house, you can fuck in a house because that's personal, you know? A club is the same way. So if this club has all its permits or whatever they need to do to have that done.
What kind of permit do you need for
I
that?
don't know.
Anyway.
Listen, I don't know. It ain't my club. I don't know. I ain't got one.
Come school
But
us,
when
come
you
school.
when you come in, you can opt into fucking or not fuck. Like you choose what you want to do. But at a public beach that's publicly government, you can't do that.
No, you
My
can't.
fault. I'm
Because
so
people
glad
bring
we talked about
families, and you cannot.
Yeah. And some people just are there to enjoy the ocean in their birthday suits.
Now I know.
Not
Now I know.
for
Not be
sexual
watching y'all
reasons.
fuck.
Yeah.
So have any of you gone on a date to either of those places?
Not
A date?
I would
Yeah.
love to go. I want to take my girlfriend to a sex club. She's not into it, but I would love to fucking go.
I can be your
nude-
girlfriend for a day.
A nude beach. I mean, I'm cool with going. I mean, I get naked on my first dates anyway.
Yeah, we know you
I
do.
do.
We heard.
I get naked on my first dates, but I haven't taken anyone to like a sex club or anything like that.
You get naked on your first dates because you like, I know my body's banging, or because
She likes to see what they.
I want to know. I want to know
underneath.
what they look like naked.
Exactly.
So usually, fuck.
I know. Usually.
We are down this hole. Keep going, girl.
Usually she takes him to a spa. She takes him to go get a massage. She takes him to.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, I take them.
Strategic
I take them
nudist.
somewhere so that later on they'll be like, "Oh my God, you're so sweet," and I'm like, "Thanks," but I really want to just because I've made the mistake. Like I don't like to fuck immediately. If I'm really into you, I do like to date you. And I made the mistake of dating someone for a while, and then
you
when they
feel like
finally
you
got
wasted your
naked, they was bad body.
No.
And I wasn't
Not
happy.
bad
It was
body.
bad body. I wasn't really turned on anymore.
Not bad body.
It happens.
And I used to like long distance when I meet people and stuff. I'd be like, "Are you bad body?" They'd be like, "What?" I'm like, "You know what a bad
You're
body
gonna
is."
ask. Like they're gonna be like, "Yes, I am."
Not
I've asked
bad
people
body.
if they're bad bodied before.
Just shaming.
No.
Shame.
So
I'm about to go in the mirror when I get like,
it's confusing because it's like bad bitch, bad body. You're just the lines
Somebody
get
asked
blurred.
me that today. I was like, no, not like that. It's like it's not like bad. Like, oh, it's not a good thing. It's a bad bad.
oh,
It's a bad
it's like
bad.
calling somebody a butterface.
I know. Well, that's pretty bad. Yeah. So you would have sex at a sex club, or would you just go and watch?
I would just
Be honest.
Be honest. Let's be honest.
Currently, I would not have sex at a sex club unless my girlfriend was at the club with me and we were having sex together and nobody else joined in.
She
If
lying!
I was by myself.
Would you, Margot, prefer to have sex at the beach or sex at the club?
Would you go to a sex club?
Hell yeah, she would.
Would you
In this
participate or watch?
outfit, and she
Hell
would
yeah, she
unzip her
would.
coochie.
Let me tell you.
Come on.
Okay, I have always been interested in, I think I like to just experience and see things. And the past couple people I have talked to, there was something they had done before, and we were gonna go to them together, but we just didn't stay together long enough because they were fucking weird.
It's like
so
that in LA.
I just think like it depends. Like some people are just fucking weird.
You can go by yourself and just.
You
Is this
can,
here's
yeah.
my thing. Is this a like coastal thing? When I say coastal, like New York, LA type of thing, or just happening in the Midwest?
Sex clubs in Atlanta, they're big as fuck. Like they have sex clubs everywhere. Everybody
But that's
just
still
comes.
another whole
went-
hub.
I
That's
went-
not
Yeah, I see
a
what you
coastal
mean.
thing.
I
That's like
wouldn't
saying,
go to
like,
a
if you
sex
the United
club in
States,
Atlanta.
yeah, but
Me neither.
Midwest, is this like
I
a
wouldn't
I
go to a
wouldn't
sex
go
club.
to one in the Midwest. You
I
might
wouldn't
not
go to
make
one
it
in
out.
Atlanta.
You wouldn't go to one in Atlanta?
Yeah, you'd
know
come
how
out
big
with
they are?
something.
I haven't
You gon'
been.
get
I haven't been
something.
to Atlanta in so long.
It's HIV real big.
It's
Oh.
real.
We've already talked about this.
Like I'm like, wait, can they hear me? I
We love you, Atlanta.
TV.
We love you.
Let me just whisper to you.
ATL,
We
I'm
love
from,
you.
but
I don't know whisper.
So
ATL be having some key people.
We already
They
talked about
do.
how
They
there's
do.
a lot
The
of
mic was right here. I'm thinking
nobody's getting tested out there.
yeah, which why not? You guys, these tests are
People
free.
do
Don't
get
play.
tested. Don't listen to the hype. Some people do get tested, but the difference is the culture of like down low and people being ashamed is a little bigger.
Right.
It's a
Whereas here
lot
in LA,
bigger.
everybomes just kind of.
I'm trying to
don't
be
play it down.
I'm
It's the
trying to be
reason.
better.
It's the reason why. The reason why it's those STDs are so rampant in that part of the country is because people are so ashamed
Yeah.
of their sexual proclivities
And you know what?
that they
It's
don't
not
get
even
tested.
their fault
Really?
that they're that ashamed. It's
It's
the Bible
the
Belt. It's
religion
the
is
people
so,
that are
like,
really. People want to walk around. Listen, y'all remember that song, Jesus Loves You? They want to walk around talking about God don't love you. Like, how religious can you really be if you're
That's-
walking around telling me that God don't love me?
Right.
Like, what kind of person are you?
Yeah,
Can we just
it's
swing this
pretty
question
awful.
this way? Would you, the sex club?
No.
Yeah.
I've been to a sex club.
And
Yeah,
how,
he's been. He
how
told us.
You
did
been?
you
You
participate?
missed that part. He said it.
I've been to a sex club. I did not participate.
He said he did
Okay.
not.
Because it was-
Did you sit
because
just
it-
like this in the corner?
Yes,
My friend just went to one, and they
because it was more of an interest of mine. Like
I see.
I had a friend.
I feel like you look like
I had a
professor.
friend who
He's
would frequent them and participate, and she was like, "Come with me," and I was like, "Okay."
Can you give us your 3 takeaways?
3 takeaways.
What were the
My
moral
3
lessons?
takeaways. To participate in a sex club environment, you have to be not self-conscious about your body.
Okay.
Because there are a lot more people watching than not. And 2, I think that a lot of people go to sex clubs and participate because they love the fantasy of being a porn star.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you
with-
get to be one.
You get to be a porn
for
star,
that
like you
night.
get to be a porn star for the night.
Pretty much.
And I think the third one takeaway would be once you get past the awkwardness, if it's your first time, even just watching, it feels more like a strip club than like this taboo
Are there condoms-
situation.
are there condoms?
There's
Yes, as soon as you
there's
walk in,
condoms.
there's a bowl
There's a
of
bowl of
Bring your own Lysol wipes, baby
condoms.
boo.
You can bring your own
Lysol wipes.
You been too?
cleaning things.
No, but I'm saying she gonna have just a bag full of
So you
Lysol
haven't
wipes.
been?
No,
No,
I
she
would
said she
like
hasn't been
Oh.
because of the people has been
You
not
can-
working out.
Okay,
But
You
so
can
we're gonna
go-
have to
I
take
also
her.
just need to I'm not gonna. I'm
sorry,
like,
I don't know.
I'm
This
not
is like
a
a
hungry
suspenseful
sexual
movie.
person. Like I'm actually sometimes will go through just phases where I have zero sex drive.
Wait,
but it's like
what?
certain people turn me on.
I don't see that from you because you always be like,
No, because I'm good at just
My appetite.
She want to have sex with you.
I'm good at doing my own appetite, and sometimes I'm just so like I could give zero fucks. So like if I'm not hungry for sex. Like if I wanted to find sex, I could find. I'm not hungry.
I don't know why that makes me
to go.
So I'm not hungry. for sex. I have a healthy
Basically,
sexual
she ain't
appetite.
thirsty for it. She
So
get it
quick
if she
question:
want
if
it.
a person wanted to find these, say, sex clubs, I'm
Don't
asking
worry.
for a friend.
We're gonna tell you. We're gonna send it to
Okay,
you. Okay.
okay.
Don't worry.
There
we don't want to put anyone on blast.
There's a few in downtown.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Google.
Yo, we've been finding all y'all.
We're all gonna show up in like mustaches and disguises. Like
lipstick tea.
With cameras, gonna be video.
I know, like those Google Docs.
There's no cameras.
No,
They
you're
don't
not
even let you bring
Oh,
your.
so you can get your freak on and
why
it's
we
not
do it
recorded.
inside.
They don't even let you
I'm
bring
gonna
your
have
phone.
a thick ass
Wear
mustache
Snapchat
on.
glasses.
that would be
I'm about to work on my
worst
accent.
setup. Okay, so now that I know we cannot have sex at the new beach, so you guys have been to the new beach, right? I haven't been. That's why I'm asking. Has anybody been?
I've been nude at a beach.
Okay.
Haven't you
Our
done?
producer
Never
has
been to-
been. He's frantically excited about this. Our producer has been to a new beach. No, you say you have been to a new beach.
Yeah, in Europe.
Okay, but so how was the culture? Was it weird? Was it
No,
awkward?
it was like super family.
Our producer went to
Okay,
one
so
in San
he
Diego.
feels like
But
he
Europe
needs
is a
to
lot
talk about
different.
his
I've been to
experience.
Europe. I've been to Europe, and Europe is a lot
Nudity is
different.
completely different over there anyway.
Yeah,
in general.
like people were walking around with their kids and
They got statues.
people were hanging out
Yeah.
topless, and it was just like, this is my body, and I'm just not having any tan lines.
Because you know the
Okay.
thought process I've heard over here is that America is what is it called? Not silent perverts, but like we preach one thing, but we do something behind.
We're
the scenes.
hypocrites in everything that we do.
hypocritical.
We are.
That's the view.
When they
We
talk
sell
about
sex, but we're not really okay with
Yeah,
it.
and then
Repressed.
send people to jail for selling it.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like
We
they
are
talk
a
about,
repressed
like, if you look at the culture of like where they be like, oh, violence, the video games, and this is, man, all them violent video games come from China. They ain't got all the violence we got. Then you talk about like the speed limit, like the car accidents and stuff. They have higher limits and they have less
Drifting
accidents.
and all that,
We got
yeah.
all the rapists and all this stuff, and we trying to like hide it. And we got the child pornography, the stuff that they make it okay. These other places don't have all the crazy shit we got.
But does
Once you put
that
hard
start-
boundaries around something, then people are more prone to like wanna, yeah.
But do you feel like that starts in the education in the school systems? And that's a question that leads me to the next topic. But I'm wondering what you think. Like, what can we do in terms of educating our youth to make it so that people aren't so crazy?
I think that in our culture,
Black or
Black, I believe that we do educate our children. I've had this conversation with somebody, and I don't mean it to be like a super race thing, but there'll be things like when we talk about the mass shootings and these things that happen in the Black community. One of my friends, she's white. We were working for another white woman, and she was just like going back and forth, going back and forth, going back and forth. And I was like, in the Black community, we're taught, I'm not saying it's the right way to teach, but we're also taught when to be quiet. We're taught how to be respectful. We're taught to say please. We're taught to say thank you. We're taught very early to have these different mannerisms and be in a box. And I'm not saying it's the best way to be, but it also puts boundaries into how to share, how to not, like we're dealing with different things that they're not dealing with. And I
arrogance
feel
is
like,
what you're talking about.
yeah,
That's
and when I'm looking at it, I feel like it starts at home with how you teach, and then it needs to be applied maybe.
But
in
I think
schools and different
that
things.
it's tricky though because because I agree that it does start at home, but we can teach wrong at home. Because I feel like my experience and the experience of a lot of people that I grew up with, we were sexualized way too young based on the fact that our parents were like, we just gonna be open and honest about everything right now.
And there
Because
should be that.
and because I think that there should be an open line of communication, and they wanted to establish that so that we feel comfortable coming to talk to them. We feel
But that line can
They
get
go too
blurred
far.
very
My mama
quickly.
said when I was
Yeah.
younger, she was like, "No glove, no love," and I was just like, I
How
can't
old were you?
I don't remember. I just remember that was so jarring to me.
She's like,
that I was just
started
like,
pacifier and stuff.
and my mother is just very open, but it was too open to where I can't even talk to her about it because it's uncomfortable.
Anderson, no glove, no glove.
But I feel like, and I come from a very village-esque family, and I have cousins that are older than I am, and so that and when they're coming into their sexual prime,
So are
I'm
you, bitch?
12 or 11, and they're like,
You gonna
well,
get
this is
this
what I
everything.
did. Or I just,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
like this girl had my eyes rolling in the back of my head, and I'm 10, and I'm like,
Wait, what?
what? Huh?
What?
And they're like, oh yeah, she did this, and then she did this move, and I'm like, what?
Right, but I think see,
So are we
I
talking
feel
about
like, but see, I feel like that education comes from like people who are still kind of considered your peers. I'm talking about like your parents.
Well,
being
but I
more
think
of the-
because of parents and my aunts and uncles
Yeah.
having to have those conversations with my older cousins,
Right.
me and my younger family members are in the room, and we learn things that I don't
Well,
think
you
you
shouldn't.
should
But
be
I also
learning.
have to bring up the point that we're at home as kids. We're at home, like 6 hours out of the day,
Right.
and then we're at school for, we're at school all day long from 8 in the morning to 3, 4 p.m. And then we go home, we do our homework, and we only spend a few hours with our family, and we go to sleep. So it's like
Right.
You
the
spent
influence
your
of.
first 5-6 years with your family. So if your parents started raising you right, then when you get in the school system, I'll be around another kid who was raised right, and they'll be around another kid who was raised right. So now that
So
same
you're
home
saying you
influence
attract what
will
you.
be that same home
Yeah.
influence will be in the school, and then you can teach them from there. But if you have,
But
if you have
sometimes-
some people who weren't raised right, if you have them coming home, because I get it, you are in school and you are around those people. But the thing is, you have people coming into school who didn't get the home education.
Right.
So if everybody starts with the base home education, when you get to school, we'll be feeding off of each other with a good foundation already.
But
I have
because
to transition this topic because this is a great conversation, but for time's sake, I want to transition into, because we are on the topic of education, there are a lot of states who are questioning whether they want to teach LGBTQ history in schools. Right now we have 4 states in the US that require LGBTQ history to be taught in schools. Okay, only 4. And those 4 are Colorado, California, Jersey, and recently Illinois. And so I want to know.
Surprised by Illinois.
Yeah, me too. But Chicago, I guess, it's a major city in Illinois. So I'm curious to know what you guys think. How do you feel about parents who, and the reason I'm asking this is because somebody wrote to me asking, I'm a straight parent and I don't feel comfortable with my kids going to school learning LGBTQ history, and I'm thinking about pulling them out of school and homeschooling them for that reason.
Why do they have to preface that they're a straight parent? Because even me being in the community, I wouldn't like that. So
Why
I don't
not?
necessarily- I think that and let me preface it, says I think age, right? When they're in high school, that's something different. I think that yes, but I think before that you have too many other developmental things that you need to worry about, and that needs to be taught versus going into something like that. I think let's talk about credit. Let's talk about
Yeah, let's talk about finances.
Right, like, why are we-
Let's talk about other things that's going to help you in life and things that's going to set you up for foundational success. That's not something that at such a young age, when you're still trying to figure out what different shades of green is, that you know what different variations of a man. Like I just think that's too much. That's too much.
I agree. I feel
Overly
like it should be
stimulating.
taught later. But in response to that, I was taught by all straight teachers, to my knowledge, all heterosexuals, and my parents are heterosexual, and I'm the homo of the year. So it doesn't really matter who your teacher is or what
Yeah.
you're learning about.
So you don't think that has an influence on anyone?
No.
Like, is it
And I mean, shit,
persuading?
because we have Black history taught in schools, and we still got motherfuckers hating Black people. Like,
Well, that's
it
only
doesn't
for
teach
1
you,
month.
right? But it doesn't teach you. We learn this in school, and it doesn't make you be one way or the other. Like, I have people, we learn Black history, and the same students that are going through Black history with me, you can still walk out and have them say nigger, and they know what that word meant. Do you get what I'm saying? So that doesn't necessarily say
all
that
the
that's what
time.
that person is going to be.
I feel like
But-
I think that there are positives.
Yeah.
I think the problem I have is with the word mandatory.
Yeah.
Because
Do you think it should be kind of offered as an elective?
if you want to
Yes,
learn about
that might
this,
make
then
more
you can
sense.
learn about it.
Yes,
Because I think
agree with that
and the
part.
reason
I don't
why
think any parent would put their kid in that class.
Not
though.
necessarily.
I feel like those parents that are very tuned into who their child is would be like,
Yes.
oh, this probably would be good for you because
Absolutely.
if you're talking about parents who are letting their kids have top surgery in
Yeah.
high school,
Yeah.
then like
'Cause I'm
go
not
learn
mistaken,
about
it's
where
not
this let's go learn about the
Right.
history of the trans experience. There's an elective for you to take. I think that it should be offered for people who want to take it.
At what age in high school?
In high
That would
school.
make
It
a little
definitely
more
is a high
sense.
In high school.
I don't think that's something.
Because that's when people are beginning to understand who they are, and if
Yeah.
I think it
you're
would be-
struggling with those things that we all have struggled with,
Right.
who am I? Who am I sexually? Those things, like you can ask those questions in an elective
Right.
course that can help you understand yourself better.
I think
so
it would
that
be smart to teach a tolerance class also for people who may or may not understand or accept, the queer community.
But I think that's more so about if that's the goal of this curriculum, the goal is about tolerance. Then that should be about equality course, where it goes about equality across the board,
not just for the queer community.
Right.
Yeah.
If the intention is to bring light to this and kind of help little kids or help teenagers and stuff like that needs to be an elective because not every kid needs to know that. And sometimes you can, when you're that young, can get confused by getting too much information.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So then if you have feminine tendencies or something like that, and you may not be gay, but if you hear this stuff, then you may jump into this role and that's not necessarily true. So I think that's too much information.
It depends on who's teaching the courses, like how it's being taught. But I agree with you when you said, like, I think it should be more of an equality course.
Yeah.
I think it should be mandatory, not an elective, like choosing only because the way we are as a society, we tease about everything. If now this is a course that I've chosen or that my mom has chosen for me because she thinks or whatever, now you're walking out of that class, everybody knows that class is this and it's not mandatory. So now we know that you chose this or your mama chose this because something wrong with you. Now you're going to be the sissy, you're going to be whatever it is. Whereas if it's mandatory, you can't tease a person because now we all had to go through it. But if you make it more equality, then it's more understandable.
But that's not just about that's not just about LGBT.
Across the board.
About equality across the board. Not just about black, about all of that. Women issues, all
religion,
that.
everything.
Religion, all that stuff that you give everybody an equal playing field.
And the only reason why I said it being an elective course is because like the gay straight alliances that are in schools. People go to those clubs and then like everybody knows either you're gay or you're an ally when you go to when you're a part of this club. It could be the same with this elective course. I'm choosing to take this course either because I identify with this community or I'm an ally of this community.
But does that open people up for targeted bullying and violence?
I think I feel like high school level is the level where you're most like bullied.
That's why I said I don't think it should be before that because kids don't have the maturity level or most kids don't have the tools in their psyche to understand how to accept differences than what they're used to. And so offering courses like this and situations like this brings bullying can now come into effect because they're too young and they don't understand.
But
I think high school is the youngest that it should be.
We also have to understand that this generation of even the high school age kids completely different than we were.
For sure. They just have access to so much more information.
And that's what I mean. Like, there are kids in high school now who are like, well, I learned about LGBT history because I just went on Tumblr and it's all there.
You know what I'm realizing though? Even though they have access to so much more, to me it seems that they're a lot more immature. Like, maturity level is a lot different for them to have, look so mature and be so developed and have all these tools.
I think it's because
the maturity level seems a lot lower to me.
I agree with you, and I think a lot of that's because they're so attached to technology and not actual, physical human interaction.
Yeah,
they're not playing.
They're not getting experience.
But they're just living through someone else's experience.
And they're developing opinions based on, what
somebody else said or someone else told them.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree. I have another question for you lovely friends of mine that's a little unrelated. Because I wanted to ask this earlier, but we got off topic. This is the last question of the day. What's the craziest place?
You ever had sex?
Yes. She said, I need to know. I need to know.
Well, Michael keep whipping out different stories. I'm waiting for his.
He's like, the park, the beach.
He's like, the
Are
cove.
those crazy though?
I mean, not crazy, but just spontaneous.
I mean, just what's the most spontaneous place that you've had sex?
I'm curious. I want to know. Don't hold back, D-Ren. It's right at the tip of your tongue.
He's holding his mouth open. He is like, right here, take me.
I snuck in someone's bedroom.
What?
Wait. This sounds illegal, motherfucker. Whose bedroom was it? Was it the person you slept with? Did you break into somebody's house? What happened?
Snuck inside.
Wait, what?
You cannot end like this.
I go to jail. Did an open investigation on me. They asked me to come over.
Okay.
I was young.
But you did
But why was you sneaking then?
Oh, because they probably was at high school or something. You snuck through the bedroom window or something.
Thank you.
Okay.
But now, without context, I can see how that's.
I snuck in someone's bedroom. The end.
Sniffed their panties.
And left.
No, I snuck into their bedroom, and we were having relations, and they shared a room with someone else, with their sibling.
Oh.
And this is totally TMI. So they walk him to the sibling had walked and we was undercover, so he had to undercover. He's like, oh, go out. I don't remember how he got his brother out and told him to go out. And so then we ended up going in the closet because brother was ready to go to sleep, and we had sex in the closet.
At least this was a walk-in closet. Please tell me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so that's probably the most interesting dynamic.
Interesting. As much as I would like to hear what everybody else has to say, we are running out of time.
No, we will not end with sex story. Absolutely not.
So we'll pick it up again next. We'll pick it up again next episode.
We just wanted to know yours. We just wanted to know yours.
You can find me on Instagram at Tiffany_TonyTV.
That was the day.
Instagram, Miko_round.
I don't want you to find me now.
Miko Rounds. Miko_round.
I'm not going first no more.
What I'm Michael. Bye. You can find me on social media, official Michael. And I think I had sex on the side of the road. We pulled over, so I'm standing up for you.
Thank you.
Tell them how they can find you.
D-Ray Anderson on all social media.
Slipping into bedrooms since 1996. All right, y'all.
Wait, I'm Margot Brown.
Sorry.
I'm Margot Graff. Y'all can follow me at It's Margot Graff.
We're gonna give him your address.
I lock my doors, bitch. And my windows.
They do me dirty.
Bye.
I hate y'all.
Bye, guys.
Y'all would not do me like that. I would not be the only motherfucking one.